something that I was going to say was better than ever.
Better than ever is our
Paying bills is
ability.
better than ever. Is you don't have to do anything. Better than ever.
Is it better than ever?
It's better than ever because
I'm like, I'm gonna make everything better. It's gonna be awesome.
Better than it's ever been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is our,
Yeah. We're gonna be thankful for
better
things.
than ever. Even if you use
Yeah, that's right. Ever.
I have like a mental list of the worst days of my life. And that day is it's on the list.
The possum day?
That day is on the list. And I was just
It's
like,
not even close to mine, if that makes you feel better.
Maybe that's what we're going to talk about because I was like, what am I doing with my life? Because I had to physically remove a possum from a residence.
A giant possum.
Giant possum. It was huge.
That was my bathroom buddy.
I feel like I did but I had gloves, so
did.
that made me feel better about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not above that, but I was just it was
It was
a bad
huge.
day.
You sent that photo, and I was like, oh dear God, that was my roommate.
You kept telling me
it didn't pay rent.
You kept telling me something's in my wall, and I was like, what? How bad could it be? And then I got over there, I was like, oh my gosh,
I knew
it was like
giant,
like the size of a sheltie.
It was good. It was
so huge. Maybe I'll put that in the show notes.
You
so
should put it in the face.
Yes.
It's an epic photo.
It is.
It makes you look real cool.
Right. Kristen West, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the studio. This is incredible. We're doing this.
It's a beautiful studio.
Yes, it is. Well, it could be worse.
It could be.
Yeah. Well, what year did we meet? What year was that? Was that 20?
Maybe
21?
when 2020.
When did you start working there?
I started working before Krista did. So I was 2019.
No, at the coffee shop.
Oh, yeah, because I guess we
shop.
met at the coffee shop in 2019.
Yeah.
I started at Pregnancy Resources and Front Porch the same day.
2019.
Yep.
That's crazy.
December 2019. And I would call you Dr. Joseph Bailey, and you wouldn't come and get your stuff because you didn't want people to know you were a doctor.
I have beef with the coffee shop people.
Yeah.
Not just you. Not you.
It can be
not
me.
you.
I started the beef.
No, because like I paid for something and then they put it on the counter and then they just keep calling my name. But I'm like in a meeting or something and they're just
You want them to have to walk it over, do you?
No, I want them to stop saying it. I want them to just like, I get it. But I'm here and we're talking and we're doing this meeting
Do
and then
you
they're
tell
yelling.
them that you're in a meeting before you go sit down?
I feel just like
Because
in
I think
my,
that could mitigate a
I
lot
feel
of
like
that
in
problem.
just like in my marriage, I feel like they should know.
Well,
They should
that's
just
on
know
you.
things for the agenda that I've set in the imaginary agenda that I've set in my mind.
Give them your calendar. These are the times you can call my name.
I paid $6 for a latte and I'm renting that spot until whenever. Just whenever, till it gets cold and they throw it away.
It's true.
It's not, I feel like it's not that big of a deal, but
That's
they're like,
hilarious.
and I also, as you know, I don't like to give them my real name.
I know.
Because I'm
And
like
it's probably
JB.
partially because of me now, because I
Yes.
did every time. I'd very annoyingly.
I'm JB or some other name. I don't want them saying my real name out to the whole restaurant. That's just weird to me. So anyway,
Well, I went full title and everything
Dr.
when I would
Bailey.
call it out.
That's exactly right. But not a real doctor, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
So.
Well, okay, so
I guess we met in 2019 or 2020.
yeah, something like that. Where'd you grow up?
In New Braunfels, Texas.
Does it bother you when people say New Braunfels?
So much. There's a song about it, that there's only one S in New Braunfels, and you'll find it right there on the end. It's a polka song from the Worst Fest.
How does it go?
Just like what I said.
Can you sing it for me?
No,
You can't sing
absolutely
it.
not. I don't know it well enough to sing it, but yes, it does bother me. And my friends will add as many S's to New Braunfels as they can just to make me mad.
It just really bothers me. I'm like, you can see the word. Can you see
Read
the word
it.
right there? Read it. Read it.
I don't know why New
Find
Braunfels gets the extra S, but they do.
Extra S. It's not there. Okay, so you grew up in New Braunfels.
I did, yeah. From 6th grade on, I grew up in New Braunfels.
You went to Schlitterbahn?
I did. We
I've
had
never been.
season passes.
Wow, I've
when
never
we were
been.
kids.
Never once. Krista won't let me
You
go.
gotta go.
No. I'm
Well,
just kidding.
you
That's
might
not true.
hurt yourself, but it's really fun.
It looks fun.
New Braunfels is it's grown it's doubled in population since I graduated high school because of 2020 and everything. So I don't know if I'd recommend it now, but it was a fun place to grow up.
It was fun.
And Schlitterbahn was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you grew up there, and then you graduated.
I graduated.
And then what happened?
And then I went to Mozambique Africa for
Right
3
after
months.
graduation.
Yeah. So they have the missions organization that I worked with had a training school called the Harvest School.
Yeah.
And I think I left in September and came back in December and was in Mozambique. I was 18. Didn't know anyone going to the school. Had flown by myself one time to Mexico or back from Mexico. And then I moved across the world at 18.
And your parents did they have any words about this? They have anything to say about this?
Well, they kept it to themselves. They didn't really tell me a lot.
They knew that you wouldn't change.
I think they knew I was pretty stubborn.
You were on the course.
Yeah, and I felt like the Lord told me to go. And so that's a tough go to be like, oh, you didn't hear the Lord. Then they really trust that I hear the Lord. And they actually, when I was a sophomore, I felt like the Lord told me that I was going to be a missionary and that I didn't need to go to college, that I was going to go straight on the mission field. And I was like terrified to tell my parents because they had always expressed the value of going to college. And so I like sat them down and I was like, Mom, Dad, they probably thought I was pregnant or something crazy. Like they probably thought I was about to drop a bomb on them. I was like, I think the Lord told me to be a missionary and not go to college. And they were like, well, we trust that you hear the Lord. So what training do you need for that? What do you need? And they've always been really, really supportive. But now my mom, I think, would have a lot more to say, but if I went back on the mission field. But then I think she knew I was a little scared. So she just probably talked to my dad about it and he kept it to themselves.
You didn't hint like this might be really bad?
No.
But then you sat him down and you're like, it's just missions.
Yeah, I didn't. I know I was sobbing in the chair and I was like, I'm so sorry I have to tell you this. No, it was probably actually so stupid. It was right after a spring break trip with our youth group. They probably were like, no, who knows what they thought was going through their head. But I just was going to be a missionary and not go to college. So
that's spring break and then you graduate. And then when did you leave?
That was my sophomore year. So there was a couple years between that. Yeah.
A lot of runway.
And then September went to Mozambique, Africa, got on a plane.
September to December?
To December, yes.
And then you came back?
And then I came back, and then I worked for Alaska Airlines for a while, and then I went back to Mozambique.
So how long total did you live in Mozambique?
Probably around a year and a half, give or take a few weeks between all of it.
So you get there. How does it start? What is life like?
Yeah. Well, when I originally went, I lived on a base in northern Mozambique, and we had a room. There was like 8 of us in a house about the size of this room. And we didn't have running water for 6 weeks. So it was very like you're in it from the get-go. Like we would take shampoo to the Indian Ocean and shower our hair in the ocean and stuff. And we knew that the water wouldn't last. So the first couple weeks, our house mom, who was like our leader for the mission school, she was like, okay, fill up all your water bottles because you can't really drink the water. So we would have water bottles, like big liter water bottles. And she was like, fill up all your water bottles while we have water. So we had the most stash of all of the houses, but it didn't last 6 weeks, so we just figured it out. But so that was the first time, and it was it was crazy.
To bathe, you go to the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, we would use you could use some of the water that we had saved, but I have a lot of hair, and 1 liter of water to shampoo and condition your hair is just not really. So we would do that and then rinse back off in the shower at the house. But yeah, we would make it work, but it was, sometimes I forget that part of my life
there was
existed.
A shower or no shower?
Yeah, there was a shower, but there was no running water. So you just would bucket shower.
No, you can shower. The shower's over there. You just stand in it.
You just stand in it.
There's no water.
Yeah, no water. No, we were very strategic with our water resources for that time. But then when I lived there long term, I lived in a different part of Mozambique on a base that had running water all the time. It just was cold. So I would boil water for showers for that. But that's that you didn't ask that. So.
You would boil. So even for showers, you need to boil water? Like you can't use the water?
No, you could use, who wants to take a cold shower every day? I wanted a hot shower. So I would boil water and then take a bucket shower that way.
Got it.
But
I thought you meant it was that
No. You could shower in the water. Yeah.
So just right away, there's a shock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we didn't have, like, we had a kitchen, but it was, I mean, there wasn't like grocery stores like we had. There was like a ShopRite was a new thing to town. And that was like a grocery store that we have, but it was very expensive and we didn't have a lot of money. So we would eat the beans and rice that the base provided. And then we would eat, I don't know, we would just, cook a lot of eggs. Those were pretty cheap.
Eggs,
and that was a big difference than there was a lot of culture shocks. Right. We also hitchhiked everywhere, and which is actually kind of crazy. Don't do that anywhere else. Don't do that in Africa. That was like, because the base had been there for so long and had done, like, we were Harvest School 19. So 18 other schools had been there before us. And they just had created this culture in the town where if you were part of the school, you could just hitch rides with local, or else you just had to walk everywhere, and it was kind of far into town. So we hitchhiked. I hitchhiked all the time. I forgot about that too. It's crazy. Yeah. One time I hitchhiked and we accidentally got into the middle of a political rally, and that wasn't very good. We had to walk where there were AK-47s and stuff. We were it was explicitly said, do not get involved politically with anything, because in Mozambique, it's very tumultuous with their stuff. And so we couldn't, as a ministry, look like we held a side. And then we accidentally got in the middle of that. And so
you knew when you were hitchhiking, they tried to give you a political sign. They're like,
no.
Take this.
They actually just stopped. They were like, we can't go anymore, so you just got to get out. And we were like, okay. And then we realized we were in the middle, and I was like, okay. Yeah. And everyone was freaking out. And I was like, we just got to play dumb. Yeah. And so we just played dumb. I was like, no, we're just dumb. We're dumb Americans. Just get us where we're going. And we got there, and it was fine. But it was, So there was a lot of culture shocks.
So right away, you're hitchhiking.
Yeah.
They're like, no, this is fine. Hitchhiking's it's good.
Yeah. They showed us how to put our hand out to where they would come. You had to be in groups of no less than 3 people. So we would hop in the back of trucks or squeeze into cars, and and they speak Portuguese. And at the time I didn't speak Portuguese. And so Did
you learn to speak Portuguese?
Mm-hmm, yeah, I was conversational when I lived there.
Okay.
My Spanish really helped me with that. But then I lost all my Spanish because it's the whole thing.
Misplaced it.
But the first day they give you an orientation, and they're like, okay, if you want to go to the shops, we'll take you one time in our vans. And then from there you have to hitchhike. So we did.
Were you able to call your parents?
Yes, that was before. It was in 2013, so it was before a lot of the stuff now. Yeah. And so we actually used Magic Jack, had an app that you could call. So if I could get on Wi-Fi, I could call, and it would just show up as a random US number. So my mom just had to answer any number, and she was and it would randomly be me. But I probably talked to them maybe once a week, maybe not. It just depended on if we could find somewhere that had Wi-Fi, or if I could pay to get the cell. I don't think I ever got the cell service when I lived there the first time. When I lived there the second time for the fuller year and some change, I had a Mozambican SIM card, and it was all the same, and we could FaceTime. That was a lot more recent, so I could FaceTime everybody, and we used WhatsApp.
What was the one? What was the one before FaceTime? And it was a really big deal when FaceTime came along.
Skype.
Oh, it was Skype. Yeah, it was. And
I don't think I Skyped.
It's not a thing anymore.
No, it's Zoom. Skype really should have done something in 2020, and they missed the ball, I think.
Yeah,
so.
Because I was in Israel, and I was Skyping, and then I think I did something else, and it was FaceTime, and I was just like, this is so nice. It was so much better.
Yeah. It was a game changer. Once I went on the mission field and could have that, it was a game changer for sure.
Well, the reason I ask is because at what point did you say to your mom and dad, we just hitchhike?
When I got home. I knew better than to. Oh, no. No. I have a rule. I figured out in my time, my parents are going to listen to this, and they do know this already, but I had a way of telling them bad things that happened. Mm-hmm. And most of it was just a funny story I told later. Like, I'm not telling them I'm hitchhiking when I'm living over there. But when I come home, funny story, I used to hitchhike. But like
It
if
turned out
something,
fine. Look, I'm
yeah,
here.
I'm
Look,
here.
Mom, I'm
Everything's
here. I made it
okay.
home.
Yeah. But when I had to tell them stuff, like we had a really bad break-in on our base when I lived there at one point, like for the long term. And then I had malaria like 4 or 5 times. And so every time I would get sick, I'd have to like call and let them know. And I had a rule where I would call my dad first, because either he was with my mom or I could judge how my mom would react based off how my dad would react. And then I could have him help me figure out what the best way to tell my mom if something bad happened.
4 times.
Yeah.
Malaria.
Yep.
How great was that?
It was rough. Actually, when I had COVID, I thought I had malaria. And Kristen was like, no, you definitely have COVID. I was like, that makes more sense because it's in the middle of a pandemic.
Krista said that?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I had it 4 times throughout my time there. One time I had it when I was doing disaster relief stuff. So I was a full-time missionary for 3 years. A year and a half of it was in Mozambique. And then a year and a half was based out of Abilene. That's how I came to Abilene, doing disaster relief stuff. And so a big cyclone had hit Mozambique where I used to live. And we were there, and probably the first night that we were there, I got bit by a mosquito and got malaria because it doesn't show up right away. And so, but yeah, I had it that was the worst time I had it. Every other time it was like, I've never had the flu, but I've heard it's like the flu. I don't know. I know.
But also fatal.
It can be if you don't take the medicine,
Yeah.
But they have a lot of the medicine now. And so if you get tested, like so they have like rapid tests that tell you if you have malaria. Those aren't always accurate. So we actually would go, there was a YWAM base that just had this one Mozambican nurse who could do malaria tests. That's all the base was used for at that point. And so we would just go to the YWAM base and she would prick our fingers and put our blood on a slide, and you could see the malaria parasite stuff in your blood like moving around. So if I had malaria right now, I could tell you that it's malaria from the blood because I saw it so many times under the microscope. But yeah, it can be fatal if it's not treated. But if it's treated, unless it's cerebral malaria, that'll get you every time. But it doesn't like go into cerebral malaria. It depends on what mosquito bites you, from what I remember. Like only female mosquitoes carry malaria, if I'm certain. And there's certain females that carry cerebral malaria, and that one hits your brain and it like, you're dead in a few days. So I never got that. I just had normal malaria a few times.
Gosh.
So
there's so much to think about.
There is, yeah.
And then like in America, you see mosquitoes and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, these mosquitoes, but there you're just like,
Yeah.
so, but you're seeing mosquitoes, right?
Right.
And
They're
then,
huge.
And then you get bitten a lot.
Yeah.
And you're like, well,
if there's one mosquito in a room, it's going to get me.
Yeah.
There could be 1,000 people in the room and it will find me and it will bite me.
the last to get gotten by
Well,
mosquitoes.
then you probably won't ever get malaria. But
I don't know.
But it's funny that you said that. I was at a camp last week and I got bit by a mosquito, and it's pretty rare here that you like slap a mosquito and it still be on you and
Pops.
like it pops. That happens all the time over there. And I slapped it and it popped and I was like, oh, but you know what? I'm not going to get malaria. That's literally the thought that I had. I was like, at least I'm not going to get malaria from this one. So
You have something to compare to.
I
It's
sure
incredible.
do.
Yeah. Was there any air conditioning over there?
My first time, no, there wasn't any. When I lived there for the year and a half, I actually put an air conditioner in my house near the end. Like all of my friends on base were able to put air conditioners in their houses. And it's just like one of those mini split ones. Like it's not like we're doing the whole house with it, but I just had like a little apartment room that I stayed on the base. And I did put a AC in on that one. And so, but it would then get too cold. And then I had to buy we called it the Widowmaker to take showers because you couldn't take a cold shower because it was so cold in the room. Like if it's hot in the room, then a cold shower is fine. But And so it's just this electric heater you plug into the wall and then put it on your thing, and it shocks you if you touch the metal. It's really bad. It's so dangerous. But we did do that for a while. And it heats the water up.
To the shower head?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you screw it on your shower head and then it heats the water. But you have to use a washcloth to turn the water off, or else you'll shock yourself with the thing.
Gee, I wonder why they don't sell those here.
I know. I don't know. They
really
should.
Surprising.
They should.
Gosh, the Widowmaker.
So when I got the AC, I had to buy the Widowmaker too, to make it optimal.
You were moving toward first world
I was.
problems.
Yes. For sure. That was a first world problem.
What's the climate like? I don't know.
So hot and humid. It's right on the coast of the Indian Ocean. And so it was probably in the like 80s to 90s most of the time. And then when it was really hot, it was like 95 or so. But it was probably as humid as probably like Houston humid, like you're swimming sometimes. And it would rain a lot. And so we would have like monsoon seasons and stuff. And so it would rain every day, and that would be really humid.
Southern hemisphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Close to the equator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were where?
I was in Dondo, Mozambique, which is right next to Beira, which is one of their major port cities in the central part. And then when I originally went, it was in Pemba, which is in northern Mozambique. Yep.
Internet? You have some internet?
Yeah. The base that I lived on the second time, we had internet and everything. Yeah. We would pay. It wasn't great. Now they have Starlink, actually.
All right.
Mm-hmm. After the cyclones, Starlink came in, and so they do that for the base. I'm still really good friends with our base directors from there.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And so they just recently got that put in. But we had some Wi-Fi, and it was kind of shoddy, but it did the job. And then we could, like I said, we could do, I actually used my phone as a hotspot more than anything, because I had the like Movitel chip in my phone, and you just buy credit from like kids on the street, and you put credit on your phone.
That's so weird.
It is crazy. We would like go to the front. We'd tell the guards, we're like, hey, we need more credit. Can you go bring one of the kids up? And they'd go find a kid, and they would love it, because we would buy way more than normal Mozambicans would in the village. So they would be like fighting over who got to sell us the stuff for our phones.
When you first got there, like culture, or like the first 6 months or whatever, there's a wave of, you first get there, you're like, oh, this is really neat. And then after a while, like you crash and you're just I hate all of this. I want to go home. What was like culturally, what was that? Did you hit that spot?
Yeah, I think originally it was just so fun to do. And it felt so like surreal that was my life. And because we would do a bunch of outreaches, and we were like always moving. But then it got to the point where I was like, oh, I like miss having friends my age. Like I lived on a base with a bunch of families, and they are some of my best friends still to this day, but they have like families. So I was the only single person on the base. And so there would be times where I was like, well, everybody's having family night and I'm just by myself. And I come from a lot of friends. Like when I lived in New Braunfels, I had a lot of friends. Here I have like a lot of community. And so living with not as much community, it was a time of really like leaning on the Lord to sustain that. But I was like 21 when I moved there long term. And so I didn't really know how to be sustained by the Lord very well at that time. But I learned because there was nothing else to do. But yeah, that was probably the biggest culture thing, was going from having a lot of friends. And you could make friends easily because everybody spoke your language. And so it was hard to make friends with Mozambicans because I had some friends who spoke English, and the two of them were our translators. And so I would hang out with them and stuff, and they would do language lessons with me and stuff. And then once I learned Portuguese, it helped a little bit with making friends, but there's always just this dynamic of like, do they really want to just be my friend, or are they like looking for me to help them get ahead somewhere? Because that happened a lot. So
with the natives?
Mm-hmm, with Mozambicans, yeah.
Mozambicans.
Mozambicans, yeah.
You are well connected. And now that you know Bob, y'all know the whole the whole world.
I do.
That's right. You know the whole world.
Yes.
But like, I mean, culturally, did you ever hit a wall where you're just like, you're so ready to go home?
Yeah, I think I really loved living there. And I think that the Lord gave me a heart for the people of Mozambique and to do things there. And like I had a lot of fulfillment in the ministries that I was able to do. Like I got to do hospital ministry and prison ministry a lot, which was so fun. And so, yeah, I would go into the prison.
Hitchhike to the prison.
No, I could drive there.
Okay.
But this was when I lived there long term. No,
Okay,
I didn't have a Mozambican driver's license, but I had my international driver's license. They do drive other side of the car, other side of the road. And that was a transition. They also don't really follow rules. So
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's just
no,
when you
it's
just
just-
make up whatever you want to do.
Yeah. You'll think this is funny. The first time I got pulled over, because they'll pull you over. It's a very, love it so much, very corrupt place. And so the cops would pull you over if they saw that you were white, just because they wanted to get a bribe from you. But I didn't know that's what they were asking for. And so, because they couldn't just come out and be like, give us money. And so they'd pull us over. And a lot of times I'd be by myself or whatever. And they'd pull me over and I'd be like, oh, like, so sorry. What did I do wrong? And they're like, well, we just need a refresco, which is a soda. And I was like, I don't have any sodas. But that's like the slang for money, like give us money. And I would just be like, desculpa, sorry, I don't have a soda in my car. And then I'd drive away. They were asking me for money and they just never, I think they were just like, oh, I guess she's not going to give us money. And then I would drive, but I would drive.
You didn't get thrown in jail for this?
No.
Well,
No, because they can't
them.
really like throw you in jail for not giving them a bribe. They're corrupt, but not that corrupt. But I just didn't know that's what they were asking for until way later. And then I was like, oh, well, I just always told them I didn't have a soda.
You made it. No sodas for you.
Made it, yeah.
How were the hospitals? You did hospital ministry?
Ooh, yeah, this is crazy. So Dondo is like a medium-sized village. So it's like on the way to Beira, which is a big city. So Beira has some nicer hospitals and they have private hospitals and stuff. So if any of our like staff or anybody got sick, we would have gone to a private clinic in Beira. But I did hospital ministry in the local hospital and so in Mozambique, it's multiple people in a room. So like maybe 6 beds in a big room. And to be able to be treated, that you have to buy the medicine ahead of time to be treated. Like they're not just going to give you like you go to the pharmacy at the hospital or outside of the hospital and you buy the medicine that your person needs. And then that's how they get treated. And so there were lots of times we would help with medicine and stuff. One time we got there and the like director of it might have just been the maternity ward, because I spent a lot of time in the maternity ward of it, because that is something, I work at Pregnancy Resources. No shock that I love pregnant women and babies. And so I had thought I wanted to be a midwife at one point. So I spent a lot of time over there. And I want to say it was over there that they were like, can you bring us gloves? Like they didn't have any gloves. And I was like, yeah, we can see what we can find. So we got them some gloves. And then like one time they asked if I wanted to sit in on a birth. And I was like, sure. Like, yeah, I want to see that. And she was just laying on a metal bed and she was prolapsed for sure. And they were pushing down on her stomach to try to get the baby to come out. And they're like, do you want to push? And I was like, absolutely not. Nope. I'm just going to stand here and pray for her. And then she did deliver the baby. And that was the first birth I saw. And it was actually wild. I actually just showed one of my coworkers, Trinity, a photo popped up on my memories of twins that I had visited in the hospital. They were just there when I was visiting, and the mom, like they don't really do ultrasounds or anything like that. Like they don't have a ton of prenatal care. Some of them do if they live closer to the hospital, they can come in for some prenatal care, but they're definitely not doing ultrasounds. And one of the ladies delivered the first baby and they were like, okay, you're done. And she was like, no, I think there's something else in there. And she delivered her second baby, that kind of thing.
It's so
and it's like crazy. Like I could tell you stories that would like be heart wrenching. Like we had someone who delivered a baby and it was breech and they like accidentally tore the baby and like ripped the baby in half. And they had to like take her with the baby to the hospital in Beira. And it was crazy. But
heartbreaking.
Yeah. And so then you like also provide the food and stuff in the care for your people in the hospital. Like they don't provide anything Really?
No cafeteria.
Yeah.
No food service. No.
No.
Nothing.
No. No.
Is there air conditioning in the hospital?
No.
The windows are just open.
Just open windows. Yeah. It smells terrible because people are just, it's up to your, like, they don't have people to clean the beds. Like like if you don't have someone to take care of you in the hospital, then you're out of luck. Like we would take care of some of our like widows, or like there was a girl who I actually like took care of in the hospital, and then she slept in my room and stuff on the base for a while, and she was like near death, and we would go up every day. And one day I just had to pay someone else to cook her food because she wouldn't eat my American food. She like complained to me about it. I was like, okay, well, I don't know how to cook Mozambican food. So one of the mamas whose daughter was in the room, she would do it. She'd cook for her.
All I have is instant mac and cheese.
No, she didn't
ramen.
like my scrambled eggs.
Scrambled
or like
eggs.
I'd make her like mashed potato. Like I was trying to make her like nutritious stuff, but she was like, get out of here with that. It's like,
beans. I need some beans.
Fair. Yeah.
Have you heard this quote before when you talked about sharing a hospital room?
Mm-hmm.
This quote is from Henry David Thoreau. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. But when I'm sick, I lead a life of very loud desperation. and I would like, especially when I'm throwing up sick, I'm just going to let everyone know. It would probably be better for me just to like drive out to the country and just be alone and writhe all by myself.
It probably would.
And I just cannot imagine being sick in a room with three other people.
Like dying, like with other people.
Dying.
Yeah.
We're all just like, we're all dying.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You're like, help me, I'm dying. And they're like, I'm dying too.
Yeah.
And it's just so bad.
It is really sweet though, because it offered a lot of time for us to like minister to them. Like when I was in there with Gina, my friend who I took care of for a little while, she was like, could have died. Like we left that night and I had like shared the gospel. Like I wanted to make sure she knew Jesus. Like I thought she was dying. And so I was sharing it with her and everyone in the room listened and several of them got saved, which was like super cool. So yes, it is, but it's also just the way of life there. It's such a community. Like you do everything in your community. Like your neighbors are at your house. You're sitting outside. You're not in your house often because it's hot because it's just like a mud hut or like a, I don't know, wood house, and there's no AC. So you're outside. Like it's so much more communal. So it's not shocking that they have communal hospital beds and stuff. I think they would be really sad if they were in rooms by themselves. But I spent all of my time in a hospital there, and I'd never been in a hospital here. And I think you'll really appreciate this story. I thought that I had malaria when I came back on I took a 2-month like sabbatical thing to come back. I thought I was coming back to raise money and going to go back and move back to Mozambique for 2 more years. But then the Lord asked me to move to Abilene in that 2-month time. So I only went back for 3 months to kind of finish up my stuff. But when I was back, I thought I had malaria or something or maybe appendicitis. I think I thought I had appendicitis. I would have just taken care. I had malaria medicine at the house. I would have done that. But I was having I was having such bad side pain. I was like, I think it's appendicitis. And my family was gone. And so I went to the hospital by myself and they put me in a room and I was like, am I in the supply room? And they were like, what? And I was like, there's all of the glove. There was any size glove you could need was on the back of the door. And so I was like, are people going to come in to get gloves? And they were like, what? And I was like, look, does every room have that? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, do you want a warm blanket? And I was like, is it going to cost me extra? And she said, honey, where are you from? And I said, I just lived in Africa. And everything cost me. Like, I just was like, I don't know. I thought that I was in the supply room and people were going to come in and get gloves.
She's like, did you hitchhike?
Yeah. She's like,
yes. Where are you from?
Are you Amish? Like, yes. What do you mean? Gosh. Yeah. So that was a big culture shock was coming back to and being a patient in an American hospital as opposed to, because I gave blood and stuff in Mozambique and it was because like they only get blood if you have someone who can give blood. They have blood banks, but it's like few and far between. So many people, they call it they're missing blood, but they're just anemic. And so like everybody's anemic. And so they can't really give blood. And so we had there was like 3 or 4 times that I gave blood while I was over there, and it was crazy. So I was like scared to come back and have to give blood, but it was fine here.
I'm O negative. Anyone can take my blood. I would have been a rock star over there.
You would have been a
Yes,
rock
I
star.
know.
They
That's
needed
right.
you.
I know.
Yeah. One time I gave blood and then the girl died before the bruises on my arm healed.
Oh.
But you got to laugh at it or you're going to cry, you know? So that's a sad story. You can cut that one out.
Sad story. Golly.
But anyway.
When you came back, what was that like?
The first,
I mean, the hospital
right,
story,
yeah.
but also what else?
I think that the first time I came back when I was like 18 was some of the most culture shock that I remember, because you can like prep yourself to come back, and our school gave us talks about like, this is going to be different. And like, people might not really like, this was life-changing for you, but you're going to need to make like a 30-second, a 2-minute, and then there's going to be people who want to hear and like take you to coffee
Your
and
whole
stuff.
story. Yeah.
But I think some of the things that like, because I came back right before Christmas. And so that's like peak first world is that. And so I came back and I was with one of my...
It was thrust upon you.
Yes,
The consumerism.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I came back and I was sitting in Jason's Deli, and every Jason's Deli everywhere is very crowded always. And it was like right before, it was probably like the week before Christmas, and I was meeting with one of my friends, and the lady behind me was talking about how she got the wrong iPad, or she got the wrong iPod, some Apple product. She got the wrong one because it wasn't enough gigabytes, and her son was going to be so mad that she got the wrong one. So she had to return it. And I always remembered, I was not listening to my friend. I was like, I can't breathe. Like, it felt suffocating of the like, because I was like, oh, like people are dying of like not having, like I had just seen with my eyes, like Mozambique is one of the poorest countries. It was the poorest country in the world for a long time. I think some other countries have surpassed it in poverty, but there's like always war. Like there was people, I mean, like just terrible. And so to come back and then be like, oh yeah, we didn't get the right gigabytes I was like, I can't believe this. And then another one that really got me was I was grocery shopping, and I had prepped myself to have like the abundance of food feel overwhelming. But what got me was the dog food aisle. I was like, why do we have, like, it's an animal. Like, that's something that really shifted. Yeah. I love animals, but I have had dogs and stuff. Like, my parents have dogs. But when I lived overseas, that's just not a thing. Like, you don't really have pets over there. Like, we had guard dogs, and like, you can have a dog, but it's very rare. And they're dogs. Like, so it just was crazy to me that like, oh, there's more food in this aisle for animals than some of my friends have in their house for their families. Like, that was a really big thing for me. And then coming back the second time, I don't remember experiencing a ton of it. What was really hard for that one was driving. I hit the windshield wiper instead of the blinker for months because it's opposite of the car. But I think I had prepped myself pretty good for coming back that time, because I was like, I know what I'm doing this time. But the first time when I was 18 coming back, I was like, we're so like entitled, and what are we doing? It was crazy.
But even like when I go camp, I come back and I have a system now, but when I first started, like, you got to figure out how to sleep, what you're going to sleep on, and I have like a little foam pad, like a little inflatable pad or whatever. And then you come back and you're like, it's just so easy. Like the power's right there, and the water's right there, and the food's right there.
That's very true. It was, that's a good point. It was very easy. Like just even making food, I was like, oh, like, if I want tortillas, I don't have to make them by hand. I can just go and buy them, like that kind of thing. I think now that you mention it, when I lived in Mozambique the second time, we had several guys jump our fence and break in, and they like almost killed our guard. And they didn't come into my house, but they like ran over my roof. Like, I could hear them. Like, they were like running over my roof, running past my house. They went into one of my friends' houses and like stole a bunch of their stuff and like threatened she was pregnant and threatened. It was like really bad. And so after that happened, I did not sleep well for the rest of my time there. There was probably, we had just come back from our furlough. So I had like 2 or 3 months left there. And so you can't have a gun there, and I probably wouldn't be able to shoot. I have a gun now, but I probably wouldn't be able to shoot anyone realistically. But we had these like metal grates we had on the doors, so I would actually close that. I didn't do it before because I was like, ugh, nothing's gonna happen. So then I would actually shut that. And so my brain was like, okay, well, I'll sleep with a machete. I bought a machete and I kept it under my bed. And then if something happened, they'd have to like try to come in and they would hit that gate, and then I could chop them with their hand or whatever with my machete. And so coming back after that, I slept for the first time, and I was like, I don't have to worry about that. And so I do still sleep with a machete. I have a machete that I keep under my bed, but it's just because I feel more confident in deterring someone with a machete than a gun. But you
didn't have to sleep with the machete again until the possum. And then the possum,
the rats
and the possum. Rats, oh my goodness.
I did that I killed our rats with the machete.
I know. I saw. Yeah. I think you.
They would get pictures. Stuck on the sticky trap, and then I'd chop them with the machete.
It's so bad.
Yep.
So not only Mozambique, not only the creature comforts of like water and air conditioning and food, but like literally people breaking in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you come back. Are you still, is it easy to remember that, or is it hard to remember all the hardships?
I think the longer it's been. So I moved back in 2018, I think. And so it's like 8 years ago. It feels so far. And so I think that a lot of it just feels like another lifetime. And it doesn't really feel real, or it feels like that wasn't really my life. Like, I think sometimes I think of things, or I'll have habits that people are like, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's just something like that I picked up or whatever. But the hardship part of it, I think I've never had a baby, but people are like, oh, you forget how hard labor was because it was so good. Like, I think it's the same thing. It's like, I kind of forget how hard it was, or like, it's funny that it was like, those things are kind of funny now. Like, but it was such a joy to be there that I don't really think about how hard it was. It was just, I miss what was there and the like good things that happened and stuff.
That's good. You were here during the snowstorm of 21? Yes.
Yeah, I was.
And that reminds me, or that makes me think like, it's all fine until it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when things stop working, you're like, oh no. Like, we don't even have water.
Right.
We had no water. We had no plan for water. And we're in West Texas, like there's no water.
Right. You can't just like go to a creek.
The oceans, I mean, I know you can't drink the ocean, but you can't like rinse off in the ocean.
You can rinse off,
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that made me think of, we have a false sense of security with these walls and the air conditioning and all the things that are provided for us.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Definitely. Yeah. I'm not a prepper, but I like to be prepared. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you told the iPad story. Are there any other things where you're still just like, y'all, you just have no idea how easy it is here?
Yeah. I think that kind of often. I'm trying to think of anything off the top of my head, but there's plenty of times where I'm like, wow, that is the most first world thing I've ever heard someone say. And it's like, I don't know, stuff about they didn't have their, certain dietary stuff, or like, I don't know. There's just a lot of things where I'm like, this is so easy, like, to do. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, though. But it does happen where I'm like, wow, this is very different than other times of my life.
When we go to a restaurant, like, I will eat anything. Mm-hmm. I will literally, like, whatever anybody's having, just order another one and I will just have it. Mm-hmm. And I know that's a total dad thing to do, or just like clean up. And I've even had the thought before of like not ordering anything and then just like when the kids are little, just like clean up everything. Yeah. But for me, it's funny. And maybe for you as well, but it's a funny thing where people are like, no, I won't have this. or I won't have this, and I know people are really gluten free.
Yeah.
But, they're just like, no, I can't, and then like all these things.
Yeah.
And I just go like, what would people have done? It's like 1850 in America.
Yeah.
And what would you do?
Yeah.
Like little kids or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Like how do they eat over there?
Yeah. They eat a lot of like beans and rice.
Mm-hmm.
They'll eat, and they really utilize everything. Like, if they have, a lot of like in town and in the city, I would say it's pretty similar to everything that we do. Like they have grocery stores and they can like buy meat, or they might buy a chicken and like pluck it and do that. But
like a live chicken at the grocery store?
No, like out in the village, they can buy it or something. But if you go more into the bush, like it's going to be a lot more where they like buy a goat or something and they like use everything of that. Or like we went and did a evangelism trip one time, and the area was in famine. And so we had provided for them to have beans and rice, and they also got a goat, and then they wanted us to eat the entrails of it because that's like the highest like honor.
The highest honor.
But they don't know how to clean them. So it was like, I God bless the Holy Spirit. I knew that I needed to not eat as much of that as I could. But the guys who I was with thought that they had seasoned it with herbs. And I was like, there's no herbs out here, guys. They're eating unripe mangoes for most of their meal. And it was just we called it the tubes with the poops is what we called it. And so I will say, you said you're not picky at eating. I am pretty picky on meat because I've had like some stuff that I'm like, I don't have to do that. I'm not in Africa. I can just choose to not eat that. Yeah. But yeah, they utilize, like, something that I learned was a lot of how to not like be wasteful with our food. Like, I'm not as good of it now, but like they will utilize all of the pumpkin, or they will utilize all of the carrot, like the carrot top, like the like green stuff. They are eating that too. They're like putting that in things. And so they know how to make food go really far. In some parts of it, they'll like, I have a friend who lives in northern Mozambique, and they will eat the field mice. Like, she's a missionary there from Ohio, and she eats the field mice and stuff. They like roast them over the fire. I never had that, but they have, they're like, sometimes these certain bugs will come in and they'll go out and catch them in bags, and then they'll roast them, and it's like popcorn.
I feel like I would eat bugs. I would, like, if I fried bugs in bacon grease or something.
Sure.
I would totally eat that. But like field mice,
yeah, they will like roast them.
Like roast them over just hair.
I mean, I don't know if they skin them. Maybe, I don't really know. I've never looked.
I don't know if you can. They're so little.
They might just do it like it's a fish then, and you're not eating the scales, but they cook with the scales on. I don't know. But she posts it all the time. There's like field mice season, and she's lived there since we did school together. So she's lived there like 13 years, and she's Mozambican at this point. So she gets excited for it, I guess, because they do it well. So they don't waste. Like, that was something that was funny, because my first year that I lived there, we were there during Halloween, and I was like, oh my gosh, cute. Should we get pumpkins to decorate? And they were like, you're not going to eat it? Like, they couldn't fathom. And so the first Halloween I came back, I was like, what a waste of all this food. It's just on, some people put like hundreds of pumpkins on their porch. Yeah. Those are edible. That's food. But they're
how do you eat pumpkins? You
roast them like a squash.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it's good?
Delicious.
Really?
Yeah.
Pumpkins.
I'll make you some pumpkin come fall.
In 2 months, we can just go to porches and steal them.
We'll just steal pumpkins and say, this is for all of the third world. But let's not forget that Gina did not want my American food, so they can be picky too. Let's not get it twisted. They can be picky too.
They're more righteous than us.
Oh no, they're picky sometimes.
November the 1st, we can just go to front porches and just get all the things we want. What's the weirdest thing you ate? I mean, other than entrails.
Probably the entrails. Yeah. I was a little bit because I was a woman, I could serve myself. And so I was able to get just a little bit. and I choked it down, but it tasted awful. It was the worst thing I've ever had in my life because it was just the innards of a goat stewed with the meat. So
You're supposed to clean it out.
you are.
Yeah.
So, and it's dangerous if you don't. And so I think
100%,
the head missionary is a hunter. And I think that he took them aside and was like, hey,
guys,
this is not how you do this.
Right.
Let's talk about it for your safety.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think.
I was in, while you're thinking, I was in Jerusalem and in a certain part of Jerusalem, and it looked like, do you know Indiana Jones? You know this? So it looked like the Indiana Jones scene, and it's like a long corridor, and there's just entrails hanging and meat hanging, and it just smelled like they didn't clean it enough.
Yeah.
It was just like that. Like, you really got to clean this out before you cook it and season it. And
there was no
rough.
seasoning.
It was like a lot of heat and fire and poop.
Yeah.
And that was tough. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That's probably one of the weirdest things that I've eaten. I've had I don't know. It doesn't feel super weird, any of it, but.
Heart? Have you ever had heart?
Probably. Yeah. A lot of times I just would prefer not to know.
You just don't want to know.
You can put something in front of, if it's going to be rude of me to not eat it, don't tell me what it is and I'll eat it. but if you tell me what it is, it's a lot more of a mind game. But
tongue?
Well, I've had lingua here. I mean, that's like a Mexican thing. I've had tacos de lingua. So,
but you can't hide that it's tongue,
right?
Because you can see
just
the taste buds on the outside.
Yeah, I don't know. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't eat tongue in Mozambique. I'd eat it in Mexico, though.
But you like that?
I mean, it's
okay.
not, I would prefer something else, but I've had it before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've never done this, but the challenge is always there, and I think about it a lot. But so you shoot a deer, just like a white-tailed deer, and there's a piece of fat behind the eyeball that supposedly tastes like pizza dough.
No.
But you can just eat it. Like, you just pop the eye out and then just have it. It's like a little piece of pizza dough.
No. Nope. If you told me I was going to offend somebody to the point where they might not accept the Lord, sure. But if that's the only way I'm eating that.
This hunter, Billy Bob, will not.
He will be greatly offended if you. Yeah. Something that's kind of weird that we would eat. So I did disaster relief in northern Mozambique too. And we at one point were on this island in the top part, and we were trying to get to this specific area that was under terrorist control to try to get them tarps and food. And we were on this little island. And so all we had was, and this is actually a very common food for people to eat in the mission world of Mozambique, is tuna pasta. But it's red sauce, spaghetti, and canned tuna. And it's terrible. It's so bad. But that's a common, one of our guys would stay back and cook for us. And he would fry up a little bit of onions and garlic and then toss the cans of tuna in it and then put canned red sauce, tomato sauce, and then spaghetti.
And it's bad.
I mean, I don't love tuna, and that was just a weird combo. That's a weird combo to me. And when I was doing some disaster stuff in Belize, I had the spiciest chicken soup I've ever had in my life. We were just in this Mayan village area, and they made us this very unassuming chicken soup. And I took a bite of it, and I was like, oh, it would be the bomb on Hot Ones, probably more than I was like, oh no. And we had a kid on our team who thought ketchup was spicy. And I was like, bless him, Lord. He wasn't in my little, some? Yeah, everybody got served the same stuff, but we were in different houses. So I never saw him, but his tummy
never saw him again.
Never saw him again.
That's right. He just.
Yeah. But.
So somebody's in America. Mm-hmm. They've lived a life of comfort this whole time.
Yeah.
What's your prescription? How do we challenge ourselves if you're gonna try to push somebody a little bit to be thankful?
I think. I mean, it's always good to I think traveling, even if it I wouldn't necessarily go on a mission trip, but I think traveling, even if just leave your part of town. Like there's people who are like, oh, Abilene's so white. And I'm like, that's because you don't go to any other places, like, because you stay in Wiley. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
cross 14.
we have like tons of refugees, and there's like we have two really cool African supermarkets here in town, and they have
you go
like,
to these?
I've been there,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And they have like, there's like plenty of things you can try and like get out of your comfort zone, or like just serving. Like, if you're really like, if you've never served someone else, like go to a soup kitchen, go to Love and Care, like, and then like I would encourage traveling to other countries and like just doing what they do, like seeing what they're like in their houses and in their villages, and I don't know, get out of America and see what there is to see would be my, if you're really, but I think you could just start with get out of your neighborhood and just pick your head up, get out of your phone, look at the people around you, talk to someone else.
Yeah, surely every city has this where you within 30 minutes, you can have a totally different experience.
Yeah. And the cultures who are most different from us are normally the most inviting. So you could like show up, you could go to one of the, like, there's like an Asian market in town. You could go to any different ethnicities supermarket in town, strike up a conversation with someone, and I could almost guarantee you that they would invite you to their house. For sure. Awesome. Like, I would be shocked if you didn't get some kind of invite of like, or like you invite them to your house, or just like, they're just people. And you could learn a lot from getting your head out of your phone and away from your own circle of people.
That's a great prescription.
But
well, and the other thing you do is you go to the Asian market and you're like, what's your best thing?
Yeah.
And then they're like this, and you say, no, I don't believe you. And then that's how you try to get them to invite you.
That's my worst nightmare, but yes. Just offend them. I don't think you're right about it.
Well, you got to figure out some way to get invited over to their house. So
well, you just say, best. Can you show me how to do that?
Yeah.
And then I'll probably show you. Yeah.
Well, are there any books? We're almost at an hour.
That's crazy.
I know. So are there any books or anything you want to recommend? The sky's the limit. Anything.
Sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to.
Any books? Well, I'm trying to think. The ministry that I worked for is called Iris Global, and Heidi Baker started Iris Global, and she has a book that I read that like got me into wanting to do missions. It's called Compelled by Love. So that's a great book. And then there's a book called Peace Child, and it talks about how this one missionary family, they went to a cannibalistic tribe in New Guinea, and they had to reframe the gospel because when they finally learned the language, they finally it's like a lot of, they had to build this trust. They had to like learn the language. They finally share the gospel with this tribe, and Judas is the hero to them because of how betrayal is in their society. And so they had to like reframe who Jesus is. Like, they had to just use what they thought was the best part of their culture and like reframe it. And it just is a cool way of like, oh, like every culture is different. That's one of my favorite books I've ever read is Peace Child. I can let you borrow it if you want. I have it on my thing.
You tell the story.
I don't know.
They're like, wait, who's this Judas guy?
Yeah, no, he was like, he's the ultimate betrayer. And that is the cool, like, because betrayal is so highly sought after. And if you can betray someone, you're like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so they ended up, and if you are like betrayed by someone else, then the only way to like bring about like a resolution is to offer a child as like to that tribe. So like if we were beefing and I had betrayed you and you'd betrayed me, I would offer you one of my children and you would offer me one of your children, and that would be the peace offering. And so they reframed it as Jesus is the peace child because of it's really cool.
That's cool.
But
That's
it's
really
like
neat.
such a different, it's one of the books. It's a book that I've read that is so different of a culture than anything I've ever experienced. And so that came to mind. And then my favorite book from my book club is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and you should just read that as a book. But that's completely off topic.
I always no, you can recommend that.
And it's going to be a movie in March, and the Fanning sisters are going to play the sisters, so it's going to be really good.
That's cool.
But our book club loved it, so
I always see it.
You should read it.
Yeah, I should read it. I really should. Did you read All the Light We Cannot See? Did you read that one?
I think I did. Yeah,
it's
good
one of my favorites. It was really good. Anything you want to plug? Nonprofit you want to plug?
I do work as the clinic coordinator for Pregnancy Resources, and it's a great organization.
Always
and
good stuff going on.
Give us money. Just kidding. And volunteer.
Yes, that's
and
right.
yeah, I don't know.
All right.
But thanks for having me.
Does the Westie live on?
I think so.
I think
if you don't know,
yeah.
I was a supervisor at Front Porch when it first opened, and I created the Westie sandwich after Kristen West.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's still there. Yeah.
It's still there. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me. We did it.
We did it.